If you have been feeling stuck or unmotivated or burnt out, then this video is for you. I was so overwhelmed with making content and videos that I wasn't even having fun anymore, and I completely forgot the reason why I started content. I had so many ideas and yet I couldn't put any of them into action. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing you my personal burnout, why I took a break from content creation. I'm going to try to help you guys out and give you some tips and tricks that I learned when I was going through brand burnout, because it literally just happened and I'm barely getting back into posting content and feeling inspired and happy again. So I'm going to be sharing that with you guys today. All right. So before we can get into the real tips and tricks, I got to give you a little bit of a backstory. Hello, this is Editing Alley. I'm sorry, but before we get into the video, I just want to go ahead and say I am very sorry for not looking at my camera for a majority of the video. I was recording this on my webcam, so I constantly keep looking up at the monitor to make sure that everything is in focus. So I'm so sorry for looking up and looking to the side and looking all around, because like I said, I'm basically starting all over again, so recording feels very new to me again, so I'm really sorry about that. I'm getting better with the videos, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. Back to the video. I've been a content creator off and on, honestly, for the past couple of years. I've been making content since like 2022. And I've been off and on the whole time, just not really burnt out, but more or less like, I don't know what I want to do. Do I want to do streaming? Do I want to do podcasting? Do I want to do YouTube videos? I had a lot of different things throughout the times, but this is the one most recently is the one that really almost got me, to basically like asking myself if I want to stop making content altogether. Honestly, I felt crazy. It felt really, really weird, because every time I would have to sit down and film a video or sit down and record a video for something, I was just so overwhelmed. Majority of my videos in March were paid content, and honestly, that's when I knew I needed to stop. I needed to take a break, because I remembered that this is not what I started making content for. I started making content to share my story with others, to share my story with other creators that are just like me. That's when I kind of realized that I need to take a step back from content and reevaluate my content, who I am as a creator, and basically all these things. Now, the one thing about burnout and creative burnout is it doesn't just happen overnight. It builds throughout time. Some of the things that I wish I would have noticed before was things like not sleeping at night, constantly working. I would be editing in bed like right before going to sleep, and then I would sit down to film and be like, I don't even know what I want to film today, and just it was a lot of other things, and we'll get into that later, but those were just some of the signs that I wish I would have noticed before my burnout actually happened, because then I might have been able to kind of like prevent it. So what I realized from my burnout, I really had to sit in with myself during this break and during my burnout to understand the deeper issue. So I kind of noticed that the content that I was making just really wasn't making me happy, and I had to take a step back to really notice that. I looked back at like all of my socials, all of my platforms, and I kind of noticed that the vlogs that I made were kind of fun. The day in my life videos were kind of fun, stuff like that. I like making those videos, but they weren't getting as many views. And obviously it's not about views or anything like that, but it was about the content that actually makes me happy. And I didn't think that what I was doing at the time was making me happy. That's where I had to make a reset for my creative journey, because if I wouldn't have ever gotten out of it, I wouldn't have ever made content again, if I'm being completely honest. The reality The reality of burnout is it's tiring. It takes a physical and mental toll on you. And as content creators, I feel like that's not what a lot of people see. A lot of people don't see that. A lot of people forget that there is a creator behind the content. Like, we say content creators, but people forget that there's a creator behind the content. And the creator is so much more important than the content itself, because creators, like people like me, people like you, the person who is a creator, needs to take care of everything else that is going on. As a creator, I think we put ourselves out online, we put ourselves out on social media and everything like that for the world to see. But there's so many other things that people don't see, like how we are mentally, how we are physically, how we are emotionally, how our house is, how our living space is, how our family, what our family is like. You know what I mean? There's so many other things that go into being a content creator that a lot of people just don't talk about. But the one thing with burnout is there is a huge mental and physical toll that burnout takes on you, because you're basically going through everything that you've ever done as a creator, and you're basically like putting it in a pros and cons list. And what I did was literally like putting it in a pros and cons list in my mind and being like, do I want to create content, or should I just stop and do something else? I've always really, really liked being a creator and being like a content creator. I started making videos in 2022, or I started streaming in 2022. That's really where my content creator journey started, was streaming. And then I got a little bit of I got that tiny taste of making money from making content, because I was a Twitch affiliate at the time. But I learned that you can make money while doing something fun, and you don't have to be in a job that you freaking hate and commute to work for like 2.5, 3 hours, and basically be miserable like half of your life, but you have to work because you need to make money. And that's kind of what I've seen a lot of the time. And don't get me wrong, I mean, if I'm not shading those people, but I'm saying, like, me personally, that's what I never wanted to do. I never wanted to be miserable at a job but have to stay there because I need money. So I started taking content creation seriously because I was like, I can make a living off of this. I can make money off of this if I do it the right way. It kind of came down to a few questions, and I'm going to share these questions that I asked myself because they really, really helped me. They really, really helped me during my creative burnout, and I don't think I would have been able to move past my hurdle of creative burnout if I didn't ask myself these questions. The first question is, why are you creating content? Really, really, really get deep about why you are creating content. So I said there that a part of it is I want to be a paid creator. And I'll be honest, I mean, it's kind of everyone's mini goal. That's what they would like, but it takes time, obviously. But what is another reason, the real reason why I'm creating content? And I want to share my story and my journey, and I want to share my creator journey as a creator with others. And I want to do that. So that right there is like the main reason why I want to create content. I want to share my story with others. Boom. And then obviously, a side, kind of side underneath that is making money off of my content, hopefully being able to be a full-time creator, but it's not the main reason. Another question, why you started making content in the first place. So you've understood your reason of why you want to make content, But why did you start in the first place? The reason why I started in the first place was because I was bored and I didn't have anything else to do. The last question I asked myself is in deep thought and deep prayer, but for me, is the reason why you're creating content to serve God, to serve Christ. And basically asking yourself, is the content you're making serving God's purpose? It really rediscovered my passion, and it really gave me the passion to want to start creating again. Because once I answered this question, I was so inspired after asking myself that question. Literally just from asking myself that one question. I don't know how, but it really, really does help once you know your purpose for creating content. I definitely think if you're watching this part of the video, asking yourself these questions or kind of taking like a body scan, if you will, like with how you're feeling like when I'm talking about these topics. Alrighty, so now we can move on a little bit away from my personal burnout experience, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys the things that I wish I knew before burnout and the signs that I wish I would have known before my burnout. Like if I would have noticed it, then I probably could have prevented it. The warning signs were always there. For me, the warning signs were always there. Like I said, I was doing content, I was editing my videos in bed while going to sleep. I was always either checking my comments or like scrolling or engaging with people. I knew something was off, but I didn't know it was the content. I didn't know that it was because of the content that was making me feel this way. And if I would have recognized it, well, things may have been a little bit different. Most of the time, I'm gonna say most of the time, your audience, your community, your followers will they would rather have authenticity than consistency. So if you're not being authentic with your content, if you're not genuinely happy with the content that you're making, again, you can tell through camera, through the video, that you're not really happy with the content that you're making. People can tell when you're being authentic and genuine, or when you're just recording a video and posting it just because you need the views. And it's a very big difference between the two, and a lot of people can tell. Some of the videos that I posted like during my burnout, or when I started to feel like low energy as far as my content goes, I noticed that some of the videos I was like, hey guys, welcome back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just wasn't very energetic. If you take that time away, if you take that time, rethink about your authenticity and rethink your content, everything like that, it really does help. This is the one thing that I wish I would have done before I hit burnout. Because if I would have done this from the start, I honestly don't think I would have had a burnout, if I'm being honest. Creating a balance between work, content, and life. Having a balance between the two is what helps the most. The absolute most. I know I was always saying to myself before the burnout that content is like a 24/7 thing. I'm always working on content. I'm always doing content, this and that. And it is, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. You need to have time to yourself. You need to have time to reset. You need to have time to relax, to take care of your health, your mental being, everything like that. Like I said, the creator comes before the content. The creator comes before the content. You need to take care of yourself, and you need to separate between the two. Like, I do think that editing videos and, working on thumbnails, those are kind of calming for me. Those are relaxing for me, if I'm being honest. But I had to cut it off. Even though I do like editing in bed because it is kind of like cozy, and editing kind of takes me a little bit longer. So like just kind of doing that helps me. But I had to cut it off because I knew that this wasn't helping me, and it wasn't helping my creativity anyways. It wasn't helping my creator journey. So once I kind of noticed that break between the two of content and work and life, that's when things started making sense. Alrighty, so now I'm gonna give you guys some burnout prevention tips. The burnout prevention tips are basically things that you can hopefully add into your schedule or your daily life to help you prevent yourself from burning out. So here we go. So the first thing that I have is to create content in batches. Batch creating content will literally save your creator life. It'll literally save your creative life, because if you basically schedule your week, you schedule your content around the days that you have the most energy, that's when you will see your best performing videos, your best performing recording times, and everything like that. Like, you'll notice so much more of a difference when you actually notice how your energy, how your vibes change throughout the week. Literally, I don't want to sound like one of those, you know what I mean? I don't want to sound crazy or whatever, but seriously, notice how you are throughout the week and how everything kind of feels. I don't like recording on Monday because I feel tired and dead as frick on Monday. And Tuesday is a little bit too early. So I kind of find that sweet middle spot in recording my videos on Wednesday, which is today. Creating content in batches helps immensely. Like I said in the last tips, is setting firm boundaries between content time and personal time. There's a difference between the two. Having a set time in between when to work on what, when and where. And I would say don't work on creator stuff at night, just because working on creator stuff late into the night can stop you from sleeping, because you're constantly thinking about work and creator activities. Unless the nighttime is the only time that you have, you can't record any other videos, you can't edit any other videos other than during the night, then obviously. But I would recommend to try to set some days either throughout the early in the morning or during the day to try to film or edit your content. Now, this one is my favorite, is to take one full day off of social media completely. To take one day a week. Each week, you have to take one day off of social media. So one of the things that I have been doing recently in the past 2 or 3 weeks, since I kind of have been slowly transitioning myself back into creating content, is basically treating content like a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. It is Editing Ally Moo again. Basically coming in here to give a quick summary of what I was talking about in this part of the section, because OBS decided to stop my video recording. But I want to just say that during that time, I was basically talking about how I really am grateful that I am able to treat content creation like a 9 to 5. Like I said, I am currently unemployed and I'm not working right now. My fiance is currently providing, and he's doing everything he has. He has a full-time job, and so I really, really appreciate that. And I know that's not the case for everyone. I know a lot of people are moms, they're working moms, they have 9 to 5s. I know a lot of people have different job situations like I do, but I would definitely recommend taking at least one day away from content creation in any way, shape, or form. because it definitely really does affect the mental health. It affects your physical body as well. That's what I've noticed, is when I just kind of put my phone down for basically an entire day. I'm playing video games, I'm drawing, I'm coloring, I'm hanging out with my family, hanging out with my friends. We went to a new park, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I don't go on social media. I do go on social media throughout the day. I just am, during this day, I'm not posting any stories, I'm not posting any videos, I'm not responding to any comments, I'm not doing any of that. And usually those 2 days for me are the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I hope that helped you guys, and if you want to know more about my 9 to 5 for creators, definitely let me know and I can make a video on that. But anyways, back to the video. So I want to go ahead and share the path moving forward and basically what you can expect from my channel now, because I basically rebranded everything. Like, I guess like creator bestie vibes. It's kind of what I'm going for. Basically, I'm kind of going on a new journey of helping creators, helping others. I want to share my tips and share the things that, like I said, I know, share my experiences with things, and really just kind of go from there. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and listening to my story, and I hope that this helped you guys with your creative burnout if you are going through a burnout. If you are going through a burnout, or like I said, you're just feeling tired or you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, please let me know in the comments. I'll try to help you out as much as I possibly can. Let me know what kind of content you want to see. If there's another, maybe I can make a part 2, or if you have any more questions about content related things, drop them in the comments and maybe I'll make a video about it. And if you want to, you can click this video, because I think YouTube would like you to watch this video, or you can subscribe somewhere over here. I don't know where it is. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.